Basically, I think we believe that learning is a marathon and it's not a sprint. It does not happen, in just one go. It does not. It has to happen through references, through environment, through consistent pieces being put together for them to actually become good in a particular subject. So we always believe that, like you mentioned, Donald, sometime back, micro-learning, for example, small doses of content. They're not those real long, verbose e-learning anymore. They are just small doses of content that kind of builds into a curriculum or builds into a learning path for every individual. But what's interesting here is that it's consistent messages that's coming. So there is always timed releases of this content and spaced repetitions in different forms. It could be in forms of tips and tricks and simple YouTube video links. It could just be sometimes even user-generated content, right? That is being shared as one of the content, and they could just be experts in how one particular process works, and then all of this content kinds of combines together to form a curriculum. I think that's how it happens. It happens over time. It happens over consistently, reinforcing, so it helps with better retention. And I'm thinking also the way it is changing, and uh, the content. There are different kinds of learners, and we know there are visual learners, there are auditory learners, there are kinesthetic learners who prefer to do and learn, not just see and learn. So I think it's important for content creators also to create content to address every kind of every type of learner. That they have in the organization. How do they get that information? They get that information through data, which will kind of pull out information as to where they are going, what is it that they're doing, how many people are looking at videos versus online courses, how many of them are just looking to podcasts. I think that's very important. I also think that learning happens best, when the platform is enabling learning, as it should support the various kinds of learning types. It must support how people are learning these days. It could be on mobile devices, it could be on various other devices. But I think all of this together is very important. While we're talking about this, I think I'm just going to jump these a little bit. I think it's very important for us to stay in touch with our learners, to understand how they're learning, what is it that they're learning, what are the kind of competence that they have not even, we've had less than 5% usage. And also think on the lines of how you can recreate traditional classrooms online. You mentioned nudging, right? Now, nudging, how can that be done online, for example? Can you just a leaderboard or gamification through the platform? Does it nudge people to actually complete more courses, to take on more initiatives than what they have done in the past? We are seeing that yes, just giving free coupons, encouraging them to do more, or just to show where they stand against the group from a analytics perspective. All of those, it kind of nudges the learners to move, towards staying competitive. And I also believe, like I mentioned, content is king. We have to have a lot of content, and the content has to be up to date. So the way we create the content has to be in a mode that it can be easily replaced, and you don't have to be spending a lot of money, a lot of effort in changing the content. So look at small nuggets. It could be just videos. It could be small PDF documents. It could be just cheat sheets. It could be anything that we create as component which can be added to the curriculum. So I think basically just the agility to know who your learners are, to understand what your platform can do, how you can nudge your learners, and how you are able to keep everybody on top is extremely important.